a chunky fella.
He is. He's so cute. Well, there you have it. Punxsutawney Phil did not see his shadow, meaning that we are in for an early spring. Well, good morning, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us here on Up with KREM. I'm Channing Curtis.
And I'm Tim Pham. What a weird tradition, don't you think?
I know.
It's kind of weird, but it's also really fun, too. I kind of want his life.
I kind of want to hold Punxsutawney Phil. I really do. Like, he just looks very cuddly.
And if I had it my way, I'd choose an early spring.
Oh, yeah, all day.
Just like he did this year. Thomas, you have been following this very closely. You've looked into the history of how often Punxsutawney Phil has been correct. So what do you think? Did he get it right this time around?
It is trending that way. If he was listening to my El Nino forecast back in November, back when he was about to hibernate, probably took just a couple notes down and be like, okay, make sure to schedule clouds on Groundhog Day. So should pan out this time, but we will, of course, see over these next 60 days, won't we? As of this morning, some areas getting quite a bit of fog, others still getting rainfall at the moment. Coeur d'Alene, you are on the rain side of things, but the visibility looks nice, but it's not so much the same over Spokane, where the rain has left, but the fog has moved in. And we're under dense fog advisories again until noon today for Spokane, the Palouse, and westward through central Washington as the visibilities are reduced in those regions. But there's that rainfall that is hovering over North Idaho for today. And while it's on its way out for now, the rain chances do stay present all weekend long.
On Thursday, a student at Shadle Park High School attacked another student with a knife. One student was stabbed and another was injured in the fight. Spokane Public Schools says that the fight took place in a bathroom inside the school between 4 girls. The student who was stabbed was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. SPS says that 1 girl was detained after the fight. This morning, the district is letting parents know that despite the stabbing, safety is their #1 priority.
Our message is that we've increased our campus safety specialists across the district. That's #1. #2 is that we are building a culture of safety in all of our schools. So safety is everybody's responsibility.
After the fight, the school was put under a modified lockdown, so no one was allowed in or out. That lockdown was lifted just a few hours later.
Now to an update on a story we first brought you as breaking news yesterday on Up with KREM. Spokane police cleared what they called a barricade situation near Rogers High School. Police are not sharing much about what led up to that standoff on Helena between Wellesley and Rowan. KREM 2 sent a crew to the scene where we learned police got everyone out of the house safely. Right now, police are not saying if anyone was arrested. Well, it's been a busy week for law enforcement activity throughout Spokane, including 2 deadly shootings, a standoff, and barricade situations all across the city.
And because of that, we sent out our Brandon T. Jones live in Spokane right now. So Brandon, can you explain more about how incidents like these really impact our entire city and law enforcement as well?
Yeah, Tim, Channing, I mean, you mentioned it. It has been an extremely crazy week where there's just been so much activity. We've been able to cover some of these incidents as well throughout the week, and even getting an opportunity to speak with law enforcement. And of course, they're impacted just as much, you know, because some told me that it was kind of a slow winter, and then all of a sudden you kind of start seeing so many activities, so many different things going on. So you can only imagine that that takes a toll on them as well. And you kind of think about what are the conversations like amongst them as well as colleagues. So earlier this week, you know, back-to-back nights, a person was shot and killed after long standoffs. Tuesday was in North Spokane after the Spokane County Sheriff's Office responded to what's reported as a man making violent threats to a neighbor. Wednesday, the Spokane police shot and killed a man on the South Hill. As a result, 9 police officers and 4 deputies are now on paid leave due to standard protocol after incidents like these. KREM 2 crews reached out to local law enforcement leaders to get an idea of how this can impact both law enforcement and the community.
This isn't at all like television. The emotional toll that being involved in something like this is real.
And yeah, so at this point, we aren't sure how long those involved will be on leave, but we also know that the Spokane Independent Investigative Response Team is now conducting both investigations. And of course, we talked about those, but then there's just also been separate incidents as well that has stretched these law enforcement agencies thin. I mean, they've been responding to all types of situations, all types of events, all throughout the city and county. But for now, reporting live in Spokane, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
The attorney for the Idaho man accused of murdering his wife, her unborn baby, and his infant son wants the indictment against him thrown out and for a grand jury to reconvene and consider new charges.
Jeremy Best was arrested in December after an Amber Alert was issued for his 10-month-old son. He was charged and indicted on 2 counts of first-degree murder. The motion is asking a grand jury to consider changing the charges to second-degree murder or manslaughter. Now, in a separate motion, Best's attorney also asked for the death penalty to be taken off of the table. He faces life in prison or the death penalty for each murder charge. A status conference is now set for March 14th.
10 Oregon senators who participated in the Republican-led walkouts will now be barred from re-election. Senate Republicans staged a 6-week walkout last year trying to block a bill to strengthen protections for abortion and gender transitioning health care. The Oregon Supreme Court cited Measure 113 in its ruling, which says legislators with 10 or more unexcused absences can't hold office during the next term. State Senator Tim Knopp says he disagrees with the ruling, but he thinks the walkout was needed to force Democrats to negotiate.
We knew the day we walked out the possibility is that we would pay a pretty high price for it, and we knew it would go past 10 days. And our members, I think, believe that it was worth it.
Knopp says Republicans would still consider walking out this session if they feel it's necessary.
On this Groundhog Day, it is foggy for most of the inland Northwest, still a bit rainy over North Idaho. Here are the current visibilities where we see those reduced to just fractions of a mile, especially on the Washington side of the state line. 1/8 of a mile visibility at Spokane International Airport is the lowest report that we are currently seeing for the inland Northwest. But it is still mild. Our current temperature is at 40 degrees in Spokane, and even that's almost 5 degrees above the normal high temperature for this time of year. So the mild weather pattern still is here to stay, at least in part, and we'll still get into the mid-40s by this afternoon. I think less rain today as that rain exits eastward for now, but will return over the course of this weekend.
Today is National Wear Red Day, and today and the month of February is an annual campaign to raise awareness about heart disease in women. Heart disease is the leading cause of death in the country. 44% of women over the age of 20 are dealing with some form of cardiovascular issues. Heart disease is the #1 killer of new moms, and women are less likely to receive bystander CPR and less likely to survive an out-of-hospital sudden cardiac event.